This is Saturday, the 8th of May 2021. This is a video to mark the 16th birthday of my friend Famous Name. He stood in the Irish National Stud till 2017. Unfortunately, I only knew him for the 9 months of 2017 because Liam and I only started going there 2017, and then he left on the last day of that year, the closing before Christmas, and I assumed that he was going to come back the following year. And then it was only two days later, after the stud closed for the Christmas, and the 7th of November, and we were at the Goffs, and we happened to meet up with somebody, and we were crying. We looked at these stallion, called stallion bees, and Famous Name was no fee for Famous Name, and it was saying he's gone to his new home in Angrove or something along those lines. Anyway, Famous Name, but he's still owned by the Irish National Stud, and his fee is now 1,000. His star is Dan Silly, and he won 21 races, and his dam is Fame at Last. He's now an Angrove stud in County Laois, and he was there. He was relocated there for 2017, and I lost touch with him for a year. I was lucky enough to find Angrove's Twitter page on Twitter, and I tweeted Alistair asking would I be allowed to visit, and he said he can come anytime once you make an appointment. So I've been back in touch with Famous Name since 2018, and November of 2018. So I missed that. So I got reunited with them in November 2018 in Angrove, and we've been in touch ever since. But I hadn't seen him since January of last year because of the COVID. So it'd be a year and 4 months on the 23rd of this month. It'd be a year and 4 months since I've seen Famous Name because of the COVID. I haven't been able to travel out there because of the travel restrictions and because of the COVID-19. So I haven't been able to go there to visit him. So I have to do a video for him to mark his birthday. He's 16 today. It's hard to believe that he's 16. Unfortunately, I only have 4 images of Famous Name. It's lucky to have had a folder made of Famous Name for last year. I made a folder of him last year. So look, I had one prepared. But I'll show you some footage of me in Angrove in a while. Because I wouldn't know where to look. I wouldn't know where to root in the Irish National Stud, where to look for the footage of the Irish National Stud. I wouldn't know where to look for footage of me and with him, the Irish National Stud, because there's so many memory boxes. I wouldn't know what dates to look under for Famous Name in the Irish National Stud. So the easier option would be to show you footage from Angrove. But there may be other horses featured in the video, so I hope you don't mind if the other horses get into film, because there's other horses there with Famous Name. He's got a few neighbours. He's got a French stallion there called Retador, and he's got another one there. He only started coming there, I think it was last year, 2 years ago. We called Marcel. When he started there, I think it was 2 years ago that he came to Angrove, and his name is Marcel, and he's a lovely stallion. So they may get them in the footage. I hope you don't mind if some of them get into film, but it's mainly Famous Names. It's really Famous Names Day, but I'll be getting a lot of Famous Name in it. Don't worry about that. I get a fair bit of him in it as well because it's his day. But other horses may get into it because I was bringing cards into Angrove. The few visits I was there feeding them cards. So I've gone up and down by all the horses, feeding them cards. So I hope you don't mind if I get the other horses in, but I'm feeding them cards, so another horse may get into shots. But it's Famous Names Day today. But I do miss him. I miss him loads, as you can imagine. And missed him when he left the stud. I missed him when he left the stud. I do miss him. I do miss him. He's quite a funny horse, quite a cheeky little cheeky chappy, quite funny horse, and he's always doing this funny nodding trick on me in the stable door. He's funny nodding his head and his funny trick of his head in the stable. He's quite funny. And he's just this funny face. He always does this funny thing with his lips in anger. This kind of thing, kind of makes funny sounds with his lips. He's quite funny, makes funny faces as well. So he's a real character. He's got a real personality. He's quite a funny horse. He's got a real personality, and he looks magnificent. He looks absolutely incredible. And I was overwhelmed when I first started going to Angrove. I couldn't believe that's just touching a stallion, because you can't do that in the Irish National Stud. You can't get near the stallions in the Irish National Stud. You can only touch the tip of their nose in the stables. You can't get near them in the paddocks, because they're double fenced. See, they're all double fenced in the Irish National Stud. You see, in Angrove, it's very different. They're more open. You see, and the doors they don't have any bars in the doors. They can put their head out. They can put their head out, and they can explore. It's not like the Irish National Stud at all. It's very different to the Irish National Stud and Angrove. And you can touch the stallion, you can pet them, you can give them a stroke, you can stroke their back, you can give their back a stroke, you can stroke their whole noses. And it felt amazing. I was actually touching my friend, touching his whole body for the first time back in 2018 when I first started going to Angrove. And it's overwhelmed. I couldn't believe it. I was actually touching a stallion, and it actually felt amazing. And his skin, his coat is so soft, and it's absolutely incredible. I mean, you can't do that in the stud, it's just amazing. But he's a beautiful horse, as you can see. This is a very old photograph. Now this is very old. This is one of the very first old profile poster photographs in the Irish National Stud back in 2017. There's another one here now. It's a very close up shot. There's another one. There's a real great action-packed photograph there. A real action-packed photo. That's in the Irish National Stud as well, I think. There's another one there. They're the only ones I have, unfortunately. Just those four. I was hoping to have a lot more than that, but unfortunately they're the only ones I have. I have more of him in my phone than I do of him on the internet. The only ones I could find on the internet, but I have more on my phone for some reason. I seem to have a lot more on Twitter and stuff on my phone. I couldn't find that many on the internet, but more on Twitter and stuff from the Angrove Twitter page. I seem to have a lot more, but he won 21 races, which is incredible. So I think I'll root up some footage of him in Angrove, of us in Angrove. I'll see if I can find him on YouTube first. I don't know. He won 21 races. Let's see now. It should be on YouTube. He won 21 races, so I should be able to find him on YouTube. Sure, I must be able to find him on YouTube. I'll have a route on YouTube first. And if I don't find him on YouTube, I'll try a route for Angrove footage. Right. I'll have to search his name first, though. It's quite a long name, famous name. I'm not too keen on the name, to be honest with you. Famous name. It's not really a great name for a horse, you don't mind me saying. But, Yeah. It's a very old profile. Old profile of him. It's a very old profile of him, his name. Let's see what this is like. It's very old, like this is a very old profile. This is very old. Oh, damn it. It's fine.
Famous Name was an outstanding racehorse, winner of 20 stakes races, very good 2-year-old, won over 6 furlongs, and he was able to carry that speed up to a mile and a quarter. Superb race when he was second in the French Derby, and he just got better with age. Great courage, wonderful horse to train.
And running up towards the finish, Famous Name and Pat Smullen will win it by 6 lengths probably from Port to Sea.
Famous Name is a great individual, and if he gets foals that look like him, they're going to be superstars. All quality, great foreleg, great hind leg, great action horse. If they have the courage and the guts that he had, they'll be race horses.
That's a very old profile. Yeah. I'm not sure this is him or not. I'm not going to see.
They're off. As they leave the gates and make their way down the far side, just jinking out to the left, Windsor Palace gave them a few lengths start as Defining Year picks it up and leads from Famous Name, Sweet Lightning and Native Khan, and they're followed by Windsor Palace. So they race now in the early stages, and Defining Year and Shane Foley take them along, followed by Famous Name and Pat Smullen. Then comes the grey Native Khan on the outside of Sweet Lightning, tracked by Windsor Palace, as they begin to race on down the far side and begin to make the climb to take them up towards the top of the hill. Defining Year from Famous Name, Native Khan, Sweet Lightning, Windsor Palace. Making the run now to take them up towards the top of the hill, and Defining Year tracked by Famous Name, Native Khan, Sweet Lightning, Windsor Palace. The 5 runners reach the top of the hill at the 6 furlong point, and shortly now will make the descent for the turn into the straight. Defining Year just over 2 lengths in front of Famous Name, Windsor Palace improving on the outside of Native Khan and Sweet Lightning on the inside, beginning now to make the descent down towards the approach to the straight, with just over 5 furlongs ahead of them now. Defining Year, Famous Name, Windsor Palace, Native Khan and Sweet Lightning heading on up now towards the 4 mark and beginning to make the approach for the straight. Defining Year is the leader, Famous Name is second, followed then by Windsor Palace on the outside of Native Khan and Sweet Lightning. Rounding the bend now to turn into the straight, and Defining Year in front, Famous Name, Native Khan, and then comes Windsor Palace and Sweet Lightning as they begin to make the run towards the final 2 furlongs. Defining Year from Famous Name in the centre of the track, followed by Native Khan, Windsor Palace and Sweet Lightning as they begin the run now towards the final furlong. Defining Year from Famous Name coming there on the near side now to pick it up, and as they race to the final furlong, it's Famous Name out in front of Defining Year, cleared of Native Khan and Windsor Palace, and running up towards the finish. It's going to be win number 17 for Famous Name, his 10th group race, and Famous Name and Pat Smullen score readily from Defining Year, Native Khan, Windsor Palace and Sweet Lightning.
Fantastic. Well done, Famous Name.
Well, what can you say about Famous Name? I mean, he's just like clockwork. He can pick up Group 3s, listed, mix it in Group 2s. The dream, of course, is to win just one Group 1 with him after his efforts in the Prix de Jockey Club as a 3-year-old, where he was beaten by the narrowest of margins, should have won, but was running from a terrible draw that day. But when you look at him here, he's just a horse racing cash point machine for the Master of Rosewell. And at this sort of level, he is nigh impossible to beat. Stick him up against So You Think, and you know So You Think will be about 6 lengths in front of him, but when he's up against these types of rivals, he's so reliable, loves cutting the ground, can race from a mile to a mile and a quarter.
Fantastic. Oh, so I thought I would have seen loads because he won 21 races. That's very strange. Thought I would have seen loads because he won 21 races here. Let's search racehorse and see what comes up. Believe this. I'll go to Mangrove. I would have seen loads of them. Sorry folks, apologies. Now, this was my first meeting with Famous Name, 22nd of the 11th, 2018. Now, show you this now. This is my very first visit. I got reunited with them. Now, I might to get the other horses in this now, so hope you don't mind. Turn the volume down because it may be a bit loud. This is Thursday the 22nd of November 2018. We're in Angrove, and we're visiting my friend Famous Name, and he's here on show. Hello, Famous Name. Can I give him a rub on his neck?
Oh, yeah. Hey, that's a good boy.
First time ever touched a stallion.
We're not allowed to do this in the Irish National Stud, you know?
You can understand why.
I can understand why, yeah. He's a real athlete. He's a real athlete. Yeah, it's incredible, yeah.
He's up here. He does get a good shot of Famous Name because he looks like a great with the camera. Yeah, looks like a great with the
How you
camera.
do? You're looking at me.
I wonder does he recognise you anyway? We used to...
I've got Finn here, recognise him.
I don't see his face at all.
Brand. Oh, why are you there, Famous Name? You're in magnificent shape. You know that? In great shape, so you're doing. Yes! You're looking at me. That's a recognise me, don't you, Famous Name? Hey? Yeah?
I had a very tricky camera. Tricky camera.
Magnificent shape. And yeah? Yeah? Magnificent shape, yes. I'm on YouTube. Freedom Skulls and stuff on YouTube. I'm a YouTuber. I told you I'm a horse whisperer, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah.